We've got an update here on the Landeron, and the movement is still partly assembled, as you can see, as I reassembled it for testing purposes. Now the replacement parts have come in. We have got a setting lever spring, we have got the ridiculously tiny and hard to get hold of minute wheel jumper spring, and we have got a replacement mainspring. So the next step is going to be disassembly of the movement again, and that will go back through the cleaning machine to make sure that it's absolutely spotless. And now that I know it all runs and it's been reassembled, so it's going to go back through the cleaning machine, reassemble and relubed. I'll be putting everything back through excepting the balance, and then we're going to put that whole thing back together with the new mainspring there, and pop that back together and give it a test, and that should see an increase in amplitude. Beginning reassembly of the watch, we fit the new mainspring, which is fitted directly from the ring that it's supplied in, and I press this in initially with my thumbnails and then using the back edge of my tweezers just to make certain that the outer edges are within the barrel walls so that this doesn't spring away when you lift the ring clear. And once we know that's seated, I then go ahead and lubricate the lower face of the barrel arbor, which here you see seated in my pin vise, which allows easy manipulation and fitting. That's then fitted into place, and the upper face of the barrel arbor is lubricated before fitting the lid. Here I'm using a barrel closing tool. This is one that I designed and printed on my 3D printer, but these can be purchased made in plastic from eBay very cheaply. Barrel lid can of course be closed using tweezers, but this just makes the job quite quick and easy in comparison. Next to be fitted is the ratchet wheel, which, unlike most watches where it sits on top of the bridge, this actually fits to the barrel and sits underneath the bridge. The crown wheel is then fitted to the underside of the bridge, where that will mate with the ratchet wheel once the barrel is in place. A small amount of grease is applied to the inner race of the gear and to the face of the plate where it contacts, and this is then screwed into place. Next, I remove the click to ensure that it is completely clean underneath, and then go ahead and lubricate the pivoting point and the contact face where it meets the click spring. I typically leave the click installed on most movements when I put that through the cleaning machine, just to save unnecessary dismantling, and then dismantle and lubricate it afterwards. So we install the barrel and the setting lever screw. This is a part that's quite easy to forget, the setting lever screw or plunger. Next are installed in order the fourth wheel with the extended pivot, the third wheel, and then the centre wheel. This again differs slightly to the typical setup where the centre wheel on most modern watches would be installed first after the mainspring barrel, and then the third and fourth wheels respectively. The barrel and partial train bridge is fitted next, taking care to fit it carefully over the dial feet securing screws and wiggling that into place, which takes a little bit of manipulation. This covers the barrel and the centre and third wheels. Once that's fitted in place, the train bridge, which covers the fourth wheel with its extended pivot and the escape wheel, is fitted. Again manipulated into place, and then free running of the train is checked before securing that. Then briefly onto the dial side, refit the cap jewel and its screw. Before turning the movement back over and oiling the cap jewel through the hole using the automatic oiler. At this point, all of the oil sinks on the MotionWorks side and the dial side are oiled accordingly. And then on the dial side, the cannon pinion, minute wheel and keyless works are installed. Lubricating as required. Here grease is being applied to the intermediate wheel post and the yoke pivot point, and there a little grease applied to the contact face of the yoke spring, which is held in place while that's manipulated into place with my tweezers. Next for comparison is the new setting lever spring next to the old one, and you can see where the point is broken there. The setting lever is fitted in place, followed by the new setting lever spring. And just off screen there, I'm lubricating the contact point between the setting lever and the yoke. Apologies that that was off camera. The winding stem is fitted next before screwing in the securing screw for the setting lever. And once the operation of that is checked, the movement is turned back over and the pallet fork and pallet cock are reinstalled. Then a wind is added to the barrel, one full wind as per my usual procedure, followed by the refitting of the balance. This is then checked to see that it's giving an amplitude of at least 180 degrees, which typically a watch should do on a single full wind of the barrel that's in good condition. And this is then tightened down and the watch is given a full wind before putting on the time grapher. So there's the movement assembled with the new mainspring in and the new setting lever on everything but the hour wheel, which obviously is the last thing to go on before the dial goes on in the hands. And that's it with a full wind on the time grapher. And we've got, as you can see, there's a little bit of adjustment needed, but this is just an initial assembly, and we've got a nice healthy amplitude of about 291 degrees there. So a very quick update, just to finalise the movement rebuild portion, and that's had the balance off on the balance tack and adjusted a little, and that is where we are at now. I'm always delighted if I can get the lift angle under 0.5 of a millisecond. When it doesn't have your typical means of adjustment via the stud lever as you find on these old watches, when you have to adjust them via the collet, can be a bit of a fiddle. It still needs a little bit of fine-tuning, but that is good enough for now to leave running overnight, just to let everything bed in and see how that runs tomorrow. And at that point I shall proceed to reassemble the chronograph works.